rights, human. Just follow my lead. You'll get used to it in no time. Oh. I guess you can go first.
to go.